Russia is still reeling after a terrorist attack killed at least 139 people on Friday. So what does this mean for strongman Vladimir Putin's regime going forward? Here's one possibility raised in an opinion column. Will Putin risk World War III? With us to answer that question is John Bolton. He is a former national security advisor to President Donald Trump. He's a former U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, and he is our very welcome guest. Ambassador Bolton, welcome, welcome. How do we think about Vladimir Putin's position? It has to seem more tenuous now. It has to. This has to be problematic. He's lashing out. He's trying to blame the West and Ukraine for this attack, but this has to weaken him domestically.
Well, I think it has some negative effect. I think that's one reason why he's tried to point the finger at Ukraine, which is ridiculous. It will give him the excuse to ramp up Russian force against civilian targets in Ukraine, and that's a way of diverting the attention at home. But he has no serious opposition at the moment. I think what he really should be concerned about is that this attack could be the beginning of others. I mean, the fact is that ISIS-K, ISIS-Khorasan, which is based in Afghanistan. They have gotten a new foothold there after the American withdrawal, as predicted by many people, which has also, by the way, attacked Iran in the past couple months. So ISIS-K is a pretty potent force, at least regionally, and I think it's a signal to us, too, that just as they crossed Russia's very long southern border to get there, they can be looking at our southern border, too.
And in terms of the urgency, how this affects the U.S. posture toward Ukraine and the conflict there, if what the Putin regime is going to do is escalate, if there's anything left to escalate in Ukraine and things get more intense, is this a tipping point time for Ukraine?
Well, I think it's very serious for Ukraine. The 2 years of fighting, because they have not had an opportunity to conduct a really strategically well-thought-out, well-equipped offensive, really has reached, at best, gridlock for Ukraine. Russia's been making modest advances. We know Ukraine has a morale problem now. They've got ammunition problems. So, unfortunately, if I were on the Russian side, I would be pushing to see if they can find a breakthrough somewhere, which could have devastating effect on Ukrainian bargaining position after our election, when I think Putin will then want to see negotiations begin.
Okay, turning now to Israel and the United Nations. Take us sort of behind the closed doors, take us behind the thinking, so we get this resolution against Israel. We get the United States abstaining. What does that mean? Put that in context for us, please.
Well, the context is that when Biden was really supporting Israel, he vetoed 3 resolutions in the Security Council that, in effect, were trying to impose an immediate ceasefire. But then, weakening constantly because of, I think, largely domestic political pressure, the U.S. itself put forward a resolution on Friday that really retreated from the linkage between the release of the hostages and the ceasefire. And for the administration's troubles, it was humiliated by Russia and China, which gratuitously vetoed it. I think for the fun of it. I really think they enjoyed it. The Russian ambassador even made the point that Biden was advancing a U.S. resolution for domestic political purposes. Quite the analyst there. And today, the United States abstained on a resolution basically, not word for word, but basically doing what the earlier 3 resolutions it had vetoed did. So all in all, this is a retreat by the United States. It's really a snub to Israel. It weakens the American position, I think, on countering terrorism. We're going to hear all of this read back to us at some point. And I think it just shows an administration policy on the war in the Middle East, which is not just Gaza, but really covers a number of other fronts like the Houthis in Yemen, just shows the policy is intellectually in collapse.
Thank you for watching, and make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.